Hey everyone, my name is Justin and welcome to my YouTube channel. I've been interested in making a channel for a long time, but I haven't really had an idea for one. That was until I ran into a dilemma. This dilemma was that I noticed there are so many games on my backlog that I have never played. Obviously, a backlog of games can be daunting, and this whole not knowing where to start thing was paralyzing me. This eventually led me to post on my Twitter account for people to reply with games that they love and want more people to enjoy. With the help of some friends, I established a list of games, effectively creating an order in which I would play them. I then promised that I would make a review of them so they know how much I enjoyed their recommendations. To keep things fun and exciting and finally get started on my channel, I have also chosen to upload them to YouTube. I am obviously new to all this, so I'm not promising any high-grade content, but I will promise that I am going to try to get better with each video, so I hope you enjoy it. The first game I will be reviewing is Sly 2: Band of Thieves. I think this goes without saying in a review, but I will be spoiling some things that happen in the game. So, if you have been building up suspense for Sly 2 for over 20 years and don't want it all ruined, now is a good time to leave. Sly 2 is an adventure game that revolves around Sly Cooper, the raccoon, and his two friends, Bentley the turtle and Murray the hippopotamus. Together, these three work towards dismantling the Claw Gang, a gang that is acquiring the pieces of Clockwork, Sly's arch nemesis. I personally have never played a Sly game, but my friend Matt is a big fan and constantly recommends the series to me. I knew very little about the series, aside from what the main character looked like and that there was a lot of stealth involved. Based on my assumptions, I thought Sly was going to be a really childish game with really outdated stealth mechanics. This may be a spoiler for the review, but I couldn't have possibly been more wrong. So, it's time to get started on my thoughts of Sly Cooper 2: Band of Thieves. My first impressions while playing the introduction of the game were mostly positive. Sly was charming enough of a character, the same with Bentley and Murray. The story is pretty simple but enticing. I immediately got hooked into Sly's quest to keep his family's enemy from returning. The movement in the game felt extremely fluid and easy to master. The simple Klingon mechanic of jumping and pressing the circle button makes it simple to traverse the world. However, this mechanic can be a little wonky at times. The game's movement kicks it up to a higher gear when they introduce new mechanics like the paraglider and ice climbers? I don't remember what they're called. I really got scared that the combat was going to get stale fast. Sly really only had a couple moves to pull out, so there wasn't much variation. I kept pushing because I knew the game was primarily a stealth game, so I figured that is where the fun would come in. I had mentioned how it was a concern before, but man, the stealth feels nice in this game. I really hate it when a game's main stealth mechanic is to throttle your joystick just enough so you don't alert the enemy. In Sly, it is simple. If you're not sprinting by holding the R1 button, you won't alert the enemy when you are behind them. This simple choice and how the mechanics work really make a stealth game enjoyable for me. Either have a dedicated stealth button or make the regular movement silent. So where does that leave the combat? Well, as you progress through the game, you will uncover more skills and abilities that make the combat become pretty fun. I just wish that there were more abilities that you didn't have to equip, or at least make it so that there was a faster way to do it, like a quick in-game menu, like a hotkey situation that was not just 3 buttons. Also, the stamina bar is super inconsistent. Some moves that don't really add a lot of value will cost half your stamina bar, and others will barely cost anything. I think it would have been extremely more fun if the stamina bar just didn't exist at all. It wasn't like it was adding a lot of difficulty, just annoyance. It was good to see that the combat got more dynamic, although it really isn't the point of the game. The game is operating at its best when Sly is completely hidden from the enemy. The great thing about this game is that Sly is not the only character you play as. Sly 2 has a cast of 3 different characters, all with vastly different playstyles, which makes the gameplay go from a 6-ish to like a 9-ish. You have Sly, who is the master of the art of stealth, Bentley, who is a weak turtle who uses tools and traps to maneuver his way around enemies, and Murray, who is a hippo. All 3 of these characters provide a vastly different experience, and the game constantly makes the player do specific missions with each of them. Sly 2 even mixes up its own formula during the game. Remember Bentley, the twerpy turtle who doesn't want to get into no fights? Well, now he's going toe-to-toe with a fucking bison. To avoid spoiling anyone who did not play this game, I won't dive any deeper, but the game does a great job of shaking up the formula, and I really hope that precedent continues in later installments of the franchise. The plot of Sly 2 was honestly unexpectedly good. I didn't expect that good of a story, coming from a game that is mostly geared towards a younger crowd. It is a stupid ideology that I constantly fall into. The plot of Sly 2 definitely seems simple. The good guy that you play as wants to thwart the evil guy's plans. Sly 2 is not like that at all, though. For starters, you are not even playing a good guy. Sly Cooper is a thief and should be in jail. You are playing a noble bad guy who is stopping an evil guy from resurrecting an eviler guy. Then shit turns topsy-turvy when the evilest guy comes in and throws a wrench in everyone's plans. All the while, there is a good girl who just wants justice to be served for all parties included. The story constantly takes twists and turns, rights and lefts, and ups and downs. At one point, you are chilling with your homies, and the next, both your homies are incarcerated and you need to break them out. One point, you are fighting a Robin Hood-esque fight, making sure the public doesn't suffer the wrath of the bad guy. Then you are torturing a crony to get information. Bentley is a psycho.
Well, General Clawfoot. We've got a lot to talk about.
The main pull of this game is most definitely the story and the plot. The storytelling is extremely enjoyable and funny. The game, characters, and world design just oozes charisma and charm. You get so engrossed in the main squad and side characters that you just want to know what crazy hijinks they're going to get into next. Throughout the game, you are performing heists, and sometimes they are mundane, like steal the keys to open this door to hack into this mainframe. Others, you need to steal this artifact, but wait! You must first enter the annual Lumberjack games to win the parts fair and square. But wait! You firstly need to win an RC car tournament to keep the guards busy. This game gets wackier and crazier with each mission, and I love it. The game's cutscenes are developed in a 2D cartoonish style, and they're extremely charming. I can't really express how much the storytelling fits this method of telling it. It just fits so well with the character's narration. The game has serviceable graphics. I wouldn't be able to say if they were good for its time, honestly. They're cute, but they obviously didn't blow me away because this game is almost 20 years old. I was playing a remastered version, but I don't think the graphics are a focal point of the game. I think the true art of Sly 2 comes in its level design. The game has 8 stages with some amazing level design that is really fun to traverse. Each level is fashioned after the boss of the area and what evil doings they are up to. For example, Dimitri's level takes place in a downtown area next to his nightclub. This uniqueness that each level has makes each level a completely different experience. That is why I really dislike how the collectibles are the same on each level. I understand that you are collecting clues to open the boss's personal safe, but I feel that just changing the appearance of the collectible would have gone such a long way. A small critique, but a critique nonetheless. Each level is filled with side missions that you need to complete in order to progress in that level. Most of them are extremely fun minigames that are a refreshing break from the stealthy fighty missions. An outlier minigame is Bentley's hacking missions, which is an asteroidy-like minigame where you have to progress through a little level to get to the end, and that is what the hacking is like in the game. Not every one of these minigames are a hit. I personally hated the railgun shooter mission, especially in the last boss fight. I blame the archaic aiming, but again, 20-year-old game.
Get it together, Sly!
The music in Sly is extremely fun. Some standouts are Dimitri's theme and the Paris level theme. The real star of Sly 2's audio design is the sound effects in the game, however. When sneaking up on an enemy, the light strum of a string instrument, I don't know instruments, can be heard. When you do get into a fight and knock an enemy out, there is a big comic book-like bang sound. The music and overall sound design of Sly 2 perfectly add to the game's experience, and it works well together with the game's other artistic aspects, creating a very whimsical and charming experience. And that just about sums up my review of Sly 2 Band of Thieves. I'm not really into giving ratings for games, or I really don't even know how I would go about it, but this is a thoroughly enjoyable game. I really enjoyed the experience, and I'm definitely interested in playing the later installments, and even maybe the first one, just to see where it kind of all started. As I said before, I want to do more of these reviews and overall more videos on this channel, so if you are interested, please like, comment, and subscribe to see more.